Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, if you've been here before, you know I fly all types of drones, from toy drones to FPV race drones like on the wall behind me, all the way up to the extremely expensive professional camera drones. Now, DJI makes some of the best professional and hobby camera drones on the market today. Well, this is the year 2018, so what's DJI going to come out with this year? Well, they have three popular models. They have the Spark, the Mavic, and the Phantom. Of course, they have the Inspire, but that's really up there for the videography professionals. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on the Spark, the Mavic, and the Phantom, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the soon-to-be released Spark, Mavic, and Phantom, coming out in the year 2018. Stay tuned. Okay, so before we get started, one important thing to mention: this video is being published to YouTube on 1 January, the year 2018. If you're watching this right now and it's like July 2018 and everything I've said is totally wrong, well then my bad. You know, it's just an educated guess on my behalf. I'm hoping I get at least 50% of my predictions correct. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a little bit more accurate than that, but I guess time will tell. Here we go. Alright, first up, the DJI Spark. Well, this here Spark, as many of you know, came out in May of the year 2017. So that means there's going to be a refresh in the year 2018. Did you notice something key about this product when DJI released it? It's called the DJI Spark. It's not the Spark Pro. The reason being is that every time DJI releases an item and uses the word Pro after it, it has 4K. So in the year 2018, obviously the next Spark to come out would be the DJI Spark Pro, and that would have a 4K camera on it. Now my guess is if they put a 4K camera on this here Spark, the gimbal in its current form will have to change, because right now it's using more digital stabilization than actual dampening stabilization. So I'm guessing the new Spark will have an upgraded gimbal as well. And another thing that goes along with the name Pro, whenever DJI makes a product that's a Pro, it also has an increased range. So right now this is the controller for the Spark. Well, my prediction is that this will be the controller for the Spark, the same one as for the Mavic, maybe changed a little bit, and the new DJI Spark Pro will have OcuSync and will fly up to 7 kilometers. For portability's sake, it's got to have foldable arms. You say, foldable arms? Really? Yep. Maybe not like the Mavic, but how about like this? This here is a toy drone of the DJI Spark that came out in the year 2017, and it has foldable arms. So if a toy drone can do this and bend the arms back to make it more portable, I'm sure DJI can do the same thing. So, you know, of course I messed that. Of course the props are all destroyed here. The Spark Pro will also have upgraded motors, which will make it fly faster and quieter. You'll have the same system as used on the Mavic Pro Platinum as of today, so you'll have a much more efficient Spark. I'm also predicting increased flight time. Why? Because every single DJI product that is a new generation of a product always has an increased flight time. So that means they just have to increase the capacity of the battery. It's a LiPo battery. LiPo technology has increased significantly year after year, so they can easily get a lot more power in here. And if you want to fly such a drone in airspace occupied by airplanes, there's many restrictions unless it falls under 250 grams. This is about 300 grams with the battery. If DJI can get this to 250 grams, they'll have a winner on their hands. Another prediction for the Spark Pro is increased sensor rate. Each time DJI comes out with a new generation of product, they always increase the existing sensor range. This here Spark has a sensor range which allows it to fly at a certain speed forward with the sensors active. Each generation of DJI products has actually increased the sensor range, and which also increases the flight speed. So this will fly faster with the sensors on. Will they add sensors to the top and the back? I don't think so, not on the Spark. It's really not needed. The front is where it's required the most, so I think you'll just get a better sensor up front. Now, one of the reasons I believe DJI is going to release the Spark, the Mavic, and the Phantom all in the year 2018 is because they have to coincide with a software release, which is also going to happen in the year 2018. I'm not saying they're all going to be released at the same time, but there is going to be new software. DJI Go 5 software. Right now we're using Go 4. And this new software is going to introduce a whole bunch of new capabilities that will be common amongst all three drones, and also individual capabilities amongst all three drones. For example, the DJI Spark Pro will have all sorts of software enhancements that will allow it to do all sorts of automated type functions. Right now it's so small and it's marketed towards people who just want to get up in the air and fly it. Well, in the future, the quick shots and whatnot will be even enhanced even further to be something quite amazing. Now, the final words on the DJI Spark is that this here item, the actual DJI Spark, will still exist in the year 2018 because DJI requires a Pro version and an entry version. This entry version will remain throughout 2018 and will still be at that nice $400 or $500 price tag without the controller. The DJI Spark Pro, however, is probably going to cost you upwards closer to $1,000 for the base model. And now we move on to the Mavic Pro. In October of 2016 is when this here Mavic Pro was released. So here we are, the year 2018, and we still only have the Mavic Pro. Certainly DJI has released the Mavic Pro Platinum, but anybody that's been watching business knows that if a company just adds a few little features and releases the same item with a different color and whatnot, it's because they're purposely holding off releasing the next generation of model. There's got to be a reason for it. So once again, I think it's all to do with the software. They all have to have that DJI Go 5 software happening in the year 2018. So what are my predictions for the Mavic Pro? So the next model should be called the Mavic Pro 2 if we follow the DJI naming convention. So the first thing that's going to be changed on the Mavic Pro is the thing that everybody complains about the most, and that's the camera gimbal. It is so fragile. So DJI will have to come out with some sort of new camera gimbal design for the Mavic Pro 2. Will it remain a 4K camera? Yeah, it's going to be 4K. Most common thing they're going to do with such a small drone is, once again, battery design. They're going to increase the capacity of the battery so that you get longer flight times. And knowing DJI, what they do with each product, they don't like you to take a newer battery with more flight time and stick it on an older model. So they actually change the design of the battery. So in other words, any batteries you have for the Mavic will probably not fit on the Mavic Pro 2. So with the new battery, you get increased flight time. In the year 2016, when DJI first brought out the Mavic Pro, they were kind of marketing this here drone as an FPV drone. Those drones behind me are FPV drones. DJI does make FPV parts for drones, but they still don't make a complete mass market FPV drone. But I think in 2018 they might come out with one. Anyways, for now they've got the Mavic. And that's why they have all the headsets they've been releasing for racing and whatnot. So that means the Mavic Pro 2 is going to take that probably a little bit further. So that means faster speed, sensors that are shoot out at farther range so that you can increase the speed. The ergonomic design of this may be a little thinner for the Mavic Pro 2. And of course they have to change the color because they already got the Platinum and they have a white version and they have this here gray version. So what's the Mavic Pro 2 color going to be? My guess it's going to be black. And what about sensors? Is DJI going to do something with the sensors besides increasing the distance of the sensors? Certainly. I've already mentioned DJI will increase the distance of the sensors, so that increases the speed. They're also probably going to add sensor to the side because this here drone has very long arms and you can see how you can get tangled in trees. They might do like they did with the Phantom 4 and put sensors on the side. The only place I could see them putting a sensor on the side is on these little arm tips on either side. They could fit some sort of sensor there. And there's room to fit a sensor in the back, so you never know. And finally, like the Spark Pro, there's going to be the new software, and there's going to be all sorts of enhancements for the Mavic. It's going to be pretty cool. I also think they're going to change the controller. The Mavic controller we're used to for the Mavic Pro, I think it's going to change a little bit in design. It might be a little bit more techy, more revolutionary, giving you a little bit more information. It may even have a color display screen, vice the display screen it has now. So in the year 2018, is DJI going to get rid of this year 2016 Mavic Pro? Because they have the Mavic Pro Platinum. Well, I think what's going to happen is that this here model is going to be gone. Sometime in 2018, it's gone. The Mavic Pro Platinum will reduce in price. That will become the entry-level model. And the Mavic Pro 2 will be the new model of choice. Okay, so now we come to the toughest one of all. Well, this here is the Phantom V Pro. This was released in November of 2016. So you see the Mavic Pro was released in October of 2016, and then a month later they released this model here. So DJI does like to release many models in 1 year. This one's a tough one to guess what we're going to get for the Phantom Pro 5. I think they're going to write the 5 not as a 5, I think they're going to write it as a V, just my guess. So the first thing I'd say about this here Phantom 4 Pro and the new model, the Phantom Pro 5, is that if you've ever tried to take one of these with you someplace, you usually put them in a pretty hard shelled large case. So Portability is okay, but it's not great. Or you can put a backpack, whatnot, but it's definitely not as great as a Spark or a Mavic Pro. So I'm guessing that this here Phantom, there's really not too much to it, and there's no reason for it to be as thick as it is. So I'm thinking DJI is going to flatten it somewhat, slightly, to make it a little bit more portable. These arms as well may even be foldable. Now the biggest change, and the reason why everybody's going to want to buy a Phantom V, because right now it's not as popular as the Spark and it's not as popular as the Mavic, but it's going to be popular if DJI goes through with this. It's going to have one of 3 possible cameras. Okay, so here we go, bear with me. So the first camera design is going to be like the unique Typhoon H. It's going to rotate around 360 degrees fully. So we've been asking for that from DJI for years and years, and they have not delivered it. It's on the Inspire, but it's not on the Phantom. I think it's going to come to the Phantom, and if it does, then they have to do something with these legs. These legs have to be retractable or move in another location. That's option 1 of 3. Option 2 of 3 is they go with what new technology is for the last year. In the last year, people are using 2 cameras, one forward, one backwards, and both of them receive 180 degrees field of view. So in other words, you put them together, you get 360 field of view. So the camera could be stationary, not hanging on a gimbal, not movable, just stationary within the design of the drone itself, one in the front, one in the back, somewhat close to each other. And in the software, you just pick where you want the image to be, because it's a 360 degree complete image. So you pick the ground, the horizon, left, right, back, front, whatever you want to look at while it's flying around, and you can do some pretty amazing things. And option 3 for cameras is DJI does like it does in cell phones, because another feature everybody's asked for on the Phantom is some sort of zoom. But if you put an optical lens in a camera, the camera becomes then quite heavy and very easy to damage and extremely expensive. But there's a cheaper way to do it, and that cheaper way is exactly what they do with cell phones. They put 2 cameras in the cell phone. One is wide angle and one is a narrow zoomed in view. So if there's 2 cameras side by side moving in whatever direction you wish, then you can switch between zoomed in or wide angle. And maybe it records both, and later in post-production you pick the image you want. Will they go beyond 4K with this here camera? Again, I don't think so in 2018, because the 4K is popular, but it's not that popular. And just like the Spark Pro and the Mavic Pro 2, the battery is going to change and you'll get increased flight time, which would be great. Also, this here Phantom IV Pro has sensors everywhere, and the range of those sensors is going to increase. So that means the speed of the Phantom V Pro is going to be pretty fast. And just like the DJI Spark Pro and the Mavic Pro 2, the Phantom V Pro will have new software which will give it all sorts of really cool features to do many things. So there you have it. Those are all my predictions for the year 2018. If I get 50 or 60% right, well, then I'm pretty happy. You'll let me know how right I am and how wrong I am by posting comments below. And if you have any predictions yourself, by all means, post them below, share with your friends, everybody get their comments and predictions down there. Maybe DJI will watch this and take some of the suggestions and make the most amazing drones for us, the consumers who enjoy the hobby. Anyways, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.